Good morning to you on this Sunday, July 19th, and to the entire team, to Raul, who is supporting us from the studio today, and everyone tuned in this Sunday morning. Today could well be the best day we've had so far. 187 people are hospitalized in Cuba, 7 are under observation, there are 131 suspected cases, and 49 confirmed active cases, the lowest figure we've seen in the last week. In our primary healthcare system, 190 people continue to be monitored by our professionals and specialists. Yesterday, our various molecular biology laboratories processed 2,745 samples. 628 in Havana's Hygiene, Epidemiology and Microbiology Center, a number that reflects the hard work of personnel in all of our laboratories. 289 in Santiago de Cuba's, 259 in Villa Claras, 986 were processed at the Pedro Curi Tropical Medicine Institute, 93 in the Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology Center Lab, and 84 in the Civil Defense Laboratories. Of all the samples processed yesterday, 1 tested positive for SARS-CoV-2 and COVID-19, details of which I will provide in a moment. This brings the total number of samples processed in the entire country to 226,443, of which 2,446 have tested positive for the virus, representing 1.1% of all samples. Samples were not only processed in Havana yesterday, where 2,103 were studied, but also from other provinces like Mayabeque with 66, Ciego de Ávila with 86, Camagüey also with 66, Las Tunas with 61, and Santiago de Cuba with 73, which goes to prove that we are continuing to monitor the situation in all of our provinces, even if no cases have been confirmed in the territory. The 1 positive case diagnosed yesterday is a 76-year-old Cuban woman who contracted the virus abroad, bringing the total number of people to have been infected abroad to 169, or 7.3% of all cases. She's also a confirmed case contact for a total of 2,123, or 88.3% of all cases. This is an important risk group, which is why we continue to work to detect and test all those who have had contact with a previously confirmed case in the last 14 or 15 days. It has still not been possible to determine the source of infection linked to 112 cases, or 4.66% of all cases. The 1 positive case yesterday is a female, representing 49.5% of the total, while men account for 50.4%. The patient was asymptomatic and had recently returned to the country. From the airport, as is procedure, she was transferred to an isolation center in the province where she lives, which is Granma. There she was given a real-time PCR test, which came back positive. As I mentioned, the patient was asymptomatic for a total of 1,349, or 54.7% of cases that presented no symptoms at the time of testing. And if we look at the rate over the last 15 days, it rises to 71%. As I stated, she's from Granma province and the municipality of Yara. There were no confirmed cases in Havana yesterday, which is a positive sign. However, the province has a confirmed case per 100,000 inhabitants rate of 3.28 over the last 15 days, the highest rate in the country. This is followed by Mayabeque with a rate of 0.6. Both the rate for Havana and Mayabeque are lower than yesterday's, meaning that Cuba's overall rate of 0.63 is also lower than yesterday's. And for viewers who now know how this process works, they might be asking, shouldn't the case in Granma be reflected in its confirmed case rate? No, the case in Granma doesn't count towards the province's case rate because the patient contracted the virus abroad. That's why this case doesn't count toward the national confirmed case rate, but rather to the overall confirmed case rate. Of the 2,446 patients diagnosed in Cuba with COVID-19, 49 continued to be active and hospitalized cases. This represents 2% of the total, one of the lowest figures we've seen in the last week. All of these patients are in a stable condition. There have been no COVID-19 related deaths in the country for the last 8 days. The total number of COVID-19 deaths, 87, registered in the country remains unchanged and represents a mortality rate of 3.56%, as compared with the regional rate of 4.1%, placing Cuba 21st in the Americas and 110th in the world. As we always mention, 2 individuals were evacuated at the beginning of the pandemic. Yesterday, 4 patients were discharged from hospital, all from Havana. This brings the total number of people to have recovered from the virus to 2,308, or 94.4% of all confirmed cases. There are no serious cases to report today. There have been no critical patients for the last 23 days, which I believe reflects our collective effort to adhere to established protocols and the contribution made by our scientists towards research and the development of treatment plans and preventative measures. The rest of the world, however, is a different case. As of midnight last night, COVID-19 continues to be present in the same 185 countries. 256,569 new cases were reported in the world yesterday, bringing the total number of COVID-19 cases worldwide to 14,044,869. Yesterday, 7,460 people died of the virus, one of the highest rates we've seen over recent weeks, for a total of 597,148 COVID-19 fatalities and a mortality rate of 4.25%. In the region of the Americas, which currently accounts for 53.16% of all confirmed cases worldwide, 141,681 cases were reported yesterday, taking the regional total up to 7,467,404. Meanwhile, 4,558 deaths were reported yesterday, for a total of 306,555, and a mortality rate of 4.1% in the region. This is the information that we have on the behavior of the pandemic in Cuba and across the world.